Hey, it's here. I'm here. I'm doing this request from Twitter here from T Jones. Uh and he asked probably one of the hardest questions that I could possibly answer. I mean, good grief. This is tough. And he wanted me to list my the five worst wrestlers. And I'm like, I love wrestling. I do. And I love wrestlers in general. They have to earn my dismay. So keep in mind this list, I had to come with whatever popped in my head. And it was a short list at first, about two or three, and then a few more popped in. Now, granted, many more could, but these people had to be grouped, all right, in a sense. They had to be grouped. So remember, I want you to keep in mind, all right. This is not about popularity. This isn't about if I like them or not. This isn't about that. This isn't about stardom, fanboys, or none of that mess. All right. It's messed up, but it's oh man, it's a grouping. All right, so this is just almost personal performance base. All right, and I'm gonna tell you this, spoiler: Kenny Omega did not make this list. And the reason he didn't make this list is because he is somewhat a bit versatile depending upon what is demanded of him. And at the same time, he could be on this list, but he would be grouped with the two people I'm going to name last. All right. Matter of fact, I'm right now, while recording this, I'm gonna put this slash note Kenny Omega grouped in. There's my note right there. There they go right there. My note. And you're gonna hear that last. I'm gonna work my way up. Now, first two on the list, and this is I'm gonna try to do this short. PN News and Johnny B. Bad. And if you don't know PN News, he was a big, seemingly light-skinned wrestler who, just like Johnny B. Bad, was very popular, had a strong gimmick, and worked well within the gimmick, but nothing beyond it. That, I'm going to set gimmicks aside. That's just for you to kind of get a memory of them. Now, here's why they would be some of my least wrestlers. It's hard to say that they're the absolute worst wrestler, because they were trained. They knew how to do some things. But this is going on visual, all right? That's going on visual. Oh, okay. That's my comparative reasoning co-host. She telling me she getting in the car. Oh, all right. Let me get back on track. All right, so PN News, big guy. He was in a scaffolding match, which they tried to. Man, I'm getting updates. A scaffolding match. He was teamed with beautiful Bobby Eaton against somebody, and that scaffolding match stank. It was bad. Pay-per-view scaffold match. It was bad. It could have been better if somebody did something. All right. See what I'm saying? Now, PN News didn't do too much in the ring. He didn't. I can't remember his finisher. I know that he had some, and I mean some, of the basics down in what he displayed in the ring. But he wasn't very mobile. He could have been better. This has been a long time since I watched him in the ring. It's been a long time, but this is just my memories, man. This is back in, like, my goodness. These are my memories from like 88 to about 92, 93, something like that. So, that's where it was for PN News. It was just, bright colored. He did his rap thing. He had a Christmas rap thing. But that's not wrestling. You see what I'm saying? The best parts of him wasn't wrestling. Therefore, that's a suck wrestler when the best parts of you are not in the ring. So you got to, now he's Slash with Johnny B. Bad. Johnny B. Bad, beautiful wrestler. He had a look. He just had to tell you, at the time he was a beautiful man. He was. His tights, his gear, all that, nice. Flamboyant, cool. You know? But what did I like about him? What did I love about him? Boxing style. All right. He's got some boxing, you know. And then he did some, you know, some wrestling stuff. Later, he got a drop kick. Now, he could cut a little promo here and there, and it was pretty good. Very short, to the point. It was about the match, about the task, and done. See, to me, that was a good promo. Now, others will say, oh, he sucked at promos, yada, yada, yada. But you know what? The promo doesn't make the match. If someone's wrestling ability is based on a promo, then why do we even have this many wrestlers? Just put them as servers in bars and stuff like that. They don't need to be wrestlers. Because the great majority of wrestlers, they can wrestle their ass off. They just can't cut a promo. You know? That's it. I'd rather have a wrestler than someone who can talk. Do your talking in the ring. You know, don't talk about it, be about it. Let's put that, you know, let's do that. But Johnny B. Bad, now he's the one that when he went to WWF, he became his, I think, real name, Mark Mero. And I think it was the WWF where he innovated the Total Knockout, TKO, or in WCW, well, NWA, WCW in that era. Well, actually it was more WCW at the time. There was no logo on the rings, really. But and there was NWA on the logo, but sometimes they just said WCW. I don't know. And his TKO is a left hook. Now I'm left-handed, he's left-handed, favored. There you go. That's shallow. That is so shallow. But this is about wrestling ability. In WWF, he got arguably worse than what he was in WCW, because in WWF he was reduced to an arm piece. He was reduced to not really wrestling, not doing too much. He didn't look like he could carry a match. He didn't like he could go 25 or 35 minutes. It just didn't look that way. He looked tired. He looked frustrated. He looked angry. And I mean angry not as in that's my gimmick, that's my thing, or I'm just like that, but I'm getting my frustrations out in the ring. No, he looked angry as in, I don't like life, damn being here. That's an anger I don't want to see on the wrestler, because if you're not happy being in the ring, you can even see it on the bad guy's face, on the heel's face. You can see that they like doing what they do. You can see it. You know, some of them can get real good at it, and you can see that smirk come across their face when the crowd boo them. It's like, yeah, I did it. You know, you can't go full bad guy. You know, and a bad guy actually enjoys being booed, so, hey, that kind of worked, right? But Johnny B. Bad, he didn't have much. You know, name his style, name what he did, you know, and all that stuff. What was noticeable about him? I mean, he couldn't even get credit for innovating, you know, the TKO, the fireman's carrying to the ace crusher. I mean, come on. It's just a fireman's carrying to the ace crusher. It's a half innovation. And sometimes he didn't even use the edge crusher. It was just one-armed. So, I mean, come on. He couldn't even get credited for that. Come on. But still, not being credited doesn't make him a bad wrestler. It's the fact that I can't remember what this dude did in the ring. You know, and he put his body on the line. He did stuff just like P and News, but they didn't get recognition or nothing. So, okay. Now, let's move up. Kevin Nash, Shawn Michaels. Those two are slashed with each other. Kevin Nash, Shawn Michaels, both of them absolutely predictable. Shawn Michaels is the reason why I slowly started not watching WWF. You know, the whole everything. As soon as he left, and he ditched Marty Jannetty, they broke them up as WWF and WWE do. They just love getting a tag team and then finding who's best and then breaking it up. And then one guy gets pushed into some form of stardom, the other guy gets left by the wayside. And the guy that gets left by the wayside is always the guy that was the workhorse of the team. Shawn Michaels won't damn near close to a workhorse of the team. Not even close. But Shawn Michaels he at first, I was like, okay, he tries, but he bored me even when he went with the Rockers. I like the Rockers for Marty Jannetty, and I didn't know jack about wrestling. I just like Marty Jannetty. He put so much into the ring every time. Shawn Michaels come in, clean it up, and I'm like, well, Marty Jannetty did all the work. He got everyone tired of letting them beat on him. What are you doing? Come in, look good, and that's it? So now you steal the show? I was annoyed by that. Not all tag team. That was a base tag team, but that's not how all tag teams looked. Now, Shawn Michaels, going on his individual thing, when he broke away from Marty Jannetty, and he got his little arrogance, he got sensational Sherry and all this, and yeah, I was like, he's got the look, he's got the attitude, but then in the ring, he didn't do much. Same thing he did as the Rocker, okay? Same thing, except he added like 2 or 3 moves to his repertoire, moves that didn't even make sense to what he was doing to him in the ring. And I'm like, well, this don't make any sense. It was kind of like Bret Hart. Bret Hart was great in the ring, but at the same time, he never worked the leg, but then ended up using the Sasori Gatame, or the Scorpion Hold. And that's what he would use. And that don't make him a bad wrestler, but I'm just saying, it didn't make sense. Sting, pretty much the same way, but at points he would work on the leg. But man, Shawn Michaels, I got bored. The others, I didn't get bored. I watched him. I felt things. I'm like, oh, snap. I'm concerned. Shawn Michaels, I'm like, yeah, same old, same old. And then I'm calling the match. It's about to happen. Yep, there it goes. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. Then it got to the point I just wrote the shit down on paper. And then I put Shawn Michaels, this is his match. The most I've seen out of him that was different was when he went against Shelton Benjamin. And Shawn Michaels had to do stuff he didn't even want to do. Come on. Shelton Benjamin brought out the best of Shawn Michaels, and who got credit for that? Shawn Michaels. Shelton Benjamin looked awesome. He didn't even get a push. Should have got a push. He didn't. Kevin Nash. I mean, really? A punch, a forearm, a big boot, brush his hair back, powerbomb, Vinny Vegas, when he made it up, they called it Snake Eyes, and he kept that name. When he holds him up, drop him on the corner or on the top rope, whichever one. It was either the turnbuckle or the rope. And I think he had a body slam, and I think every once in a while it was a counter clothesline. He didn't even have that many moves. When did you ever see Kevin Nash, do a drop kick? When did you see him do arm drag, a hip toss? I mean, I think I saw him do a bear hug once. I think. I'm not sure. But maybe Kevin Nash just knew his limits, because every time he tried to run, he blew out his quad or his knee. And that's not a shot at him. I'm just taking notice. Come on, what good are you if you don't know your limits? When you know your limits, you know not to do certain things. But aside from that, while Kevin Nash is iconic, while he is recognizable just by name alone, all right, damn a face, just name alone, while he was awesome with either the Insiders, the Outsiders, or just basic tag team name Hall and Nash, either way, as, how can I say, star power he had, ring talent was not. And I was just not ever excited about a match that he had. I never wondered if he's going to win. I never felt like he's going to get hurt or lose. And when he did get hurt, it's like, oh crap, what happened? I think he blew his knee out again. Damn, he's going to be out another. The only time I was upset about Nash getting hurt was the fact I wasn't going to see Hall and Nash as a tag team. That was it. I mean, Hall was all right by himself. He could carry a match. But Kevin Nash, in a sense, needed Hall. And that worked together. They were a good tag team together. But by himself, I don't see how, if Nash didn't have the height, the size, and that look, he wouldn't have got the push, I don't think. And that's not even what really tallies anything to me if someone would have got a push. But I'm just saying it's something to take notice. Nash, however, just wasn't. I just didn't like his talent. He just didn't show any actual wrestling. And then, later when I found out about him, I'm like, oh crap, dude. Moving up from that, I'm trying to make this thing under 25 minutes. Next. Here we go. Y'all gonna be mad at me for this. Remember what I said in the beginning? This isn't about popularity. This isn't about if you're a great face, if you're a great heel. It doesn't matter about any of that mess. It don't. That's not what it is. This is about what intrigued me in watching wrestling. So here goes. Y'all gonna be mad. Y'all gonna be big mad at this, all right? But some of the worst wrestlers was Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior. And that's the ones I grouped Kenny Omega in. Now, like Shawn Michaels, Shawn in the beginning, he was great, but then he got complacent and did the same stuff over and over and over. That was Hulk Hogan. The only time I got to see Hogan was Saturday Night's Main Event. It was either that or they'd be replaced by Saturday Night Live. But Hulk Hogan, I mean, in all honesty, when I first saw him, I was like, celebrity, cool, but I don't get it, Now this is coming from a kid at the time where I was used to watching westerns, okay, cowboys, and people that wore yellow or were considered yellow weren't the best person to be around. And Hogan wore yellow like a mug, and he had some red splashed in there, but yellow was his predominant color. So I'm like, okay, this is the coward of the company. Why is everybody all over this fool? He'll sell you out for a nickel. That's what I saw. And then I had to differentiate from Western to wrestling. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's just colors he wear. It's his favorite colors, I suppose. All right, cool, So then I'm watching them and I'm like, oh, okay, I see what he does in the ring. Cool. What other moves has he got? And I watch, and it takes another 7 days. Okay, I saw this match with a different person. And I knew nothing. I didn't know anything. This was like, wow, man. Like, I don't know, 1987, 88 or something. And then I'm just sitting here like, okay, I watched that. Okay, Saturday Night Live. Okay, Saturday Night's Main Event. Okay, I'm seeing this again. I get tired of the same old thing. The whole, we start off wrestling and that starts off cool and I love that. And then he starts going into his whole thing of, I'm going to fight you, a few body slams, of testing of strength, hold this, let's waste 5 and 10 minutes. All right, fine. I am cool with that until the bad guy gets the upper hand, then Hogan comes back. The bad guy gets the upper hand, Hogan comes back. The bad guy gets the upper hand and just stays hammering on Hogan. Just beat on him until what? He stops, eyes wide. He looks around. Oh, this is the end of it. They're beating on his back. Everyone beats on his back the same. Everybody does. Beat on his back. He starts hulking up. And then he points, you! It got to the point the crowd started chanting with him. And that was after Saturday Night Main Event stopped. And he's like, you! And then he starts punching him. And then sometimes a body slam. Sometimes some 10 punches in the corner. And then on really short matches, he won't even do that. He'll just throw him to the ropes, big boot, come up the rope, leg drop. Now, while that was so boring to me, I have to give credit to one thing. It helped me learn the setup move. Because I was used to wrestling where there was no setup move per se. All right? Like Sting had the Stinger Splash when he innovated, and then Scorpion Deathlock. All right? And then they would end up holding their back when done, some holding their leg. Fine. Hogan wasn't like that. It was they leg drop, cover, get up, they lay there, slowly roll out the ring. You can't even really notice it because either the manager get them or they slowly roll out. And Hogan poses and stuff for roughly 2 to 3 times longer than the match was. Boring. And I remember I was telling my cousin, I was like, this guy sucks. And I remember listening to Bobby Heenan and stuff. And Heenan's getting there, and I mean literally exposing the business, but doing it so classy. Look at this guy. Oh, now he's impervious to pain. Why is he impervious to pain? Somebody ought to check his gym bag. And I'm like, Check his gym bag for what? I didn't understand. But check his gym bag. You know, what's this guy on? What's he taking? He's not feeling any pain. And then, you know, the big finish. He's like, oh, now the leg drop. And then he's going to get the 1, 2, 3. I'm sick of this guy. He would do that. And Bobby Heenan made me hate Hogan because he was on the same level as I was in watching this. But he was classy about it. But I was so sick of it. I was like, somebody finally agrees with me. Now, it took a few months before Bobby Heenan was saying it. Although Bobby Heenan, I think he had an actual love for Hogan, maybe. But commentary-wise, he was the bad guy, so he had to go with this. But then when Hogan switched to being the bad guy, Heenan was still hating him. So it's hard to say. Hard to say. Ultimate Warrior. Ultimate Warrior had, out of everything he did, now I like the shaking of the ropes, but that's not wrestling. Ultimate Warrior, when he did do a drop kick, the very few times you would actually see one, it could have been better, but the tassels on his legs made it look cool. That's pretty much it. Warrior had gear, energy, awesome body, wild and woolly hair, because if he cut his hair, that would look terrible. All right? But, I mean, I'm just saying, Ultimate Warrior had everything in terms of the best look for his gimmick. But when he got in the ring, there was no point to him. There won't. Now, I'll be honest with you. Warrior gave me something. I like those clotheslines. Clothesline, knock him down, come back, another clothesline. And they weren't stiff clotheslines. They weren't heavy clotheslines. It was basically, here's my arm. You need to learn to fall when this arm touches you. And there you go. The arm was so telegraphed. You know, I'm just saying, Alexander Graham Bell probably created Ultimate Warrior's arm. That's how telegraphed it was. It was terrible. Now, maybe that joke was terrible. But if it was, I don't care. So, Ultimate Warrior bored me in the ring. I was like, what's this dude's finisher? Military press, drop, pin. Then that evolved into military press. But as soon as he dropped him, he's running. Come back with the big splash. I was like, that's pretty cool. But I was like, something, I feel like it's not enough. I don't know, it just would have been better if Warrior came out the ropes with double knees to the back or something. That would have been cool. And I'm pretty sure if he was alive and he was able to, he'd be like, you know what, that would have been better, because 2 knees to the back like that? Yeah. Now, why is that the same as Kenny Omega? Because Kenny Omega does the same thing every time. Just like every pro has to get their shtick, yes. But it's worse when the opponent has to set it up for you. Kenny Omega is so, he's not thoroughly predictable. I like that. He's not thoroughly predictable. But when he goes outside the ring and he does all that needless mess, he always puts somebody in jeopardy. And it either is great and it looks bad, but no one's going to get hurt because they're professionals. But then he exposes it later, or he fucks somebody up, and there's no consequences, no backlash, no nothing. Fanboys don't bother to chastise their so-called hero. That's not happening. You ain't going to do no wrong. You know, no matter how messed up you are, you ain't going to do any wrong. But the Kenny Omega just don't, I mean, what's he going to do? You know, same old, same old. V-trigger. The V-trigger could be a finisher by itself. I mean, come on, that right there is a knockout style blow. But no, man, let's do it again. You know, let's pick them up. You know, you give somebody a knockout blow, you don't pick them up. You don't. You go for the pin. You know, it sucks. But Kenny Omega, while he could put on good matches, he just don't have basics. And Hogan, Warrior and them, they never really expressed the basics. That bothered me. I enjoy seeing the basics. I like seeing the match warm up. I like seeing them go through a small repertoire, not showing you all of their stuff, but just enough. You know, now I saw Hulk Hogan wrestling in Japan for New Japan Pro Wrestling. He wrestled with and against the Great Muta. He wrestled with and against Antonio Inoki. He's been in the early stages of the G1 type climax when they were just single elimination tournaments. I've watched him perform feint arm breakers. I've seen him, you know, his Axe Bomber clothesline. I wouldn't call it a lariat, but it's definitely a stiff clothesline because the arm is held out. That's a clothesline. A lariat, you kind of swinging that arm. You know, clothesline, you can just hold the arm out and then they catch it. You know, and there's a hooking clothesline. There's a hooking lariat. You know, Benoit had more of a hooking clothesline. It's rare to see a hooking lariat. I've seen it a couple of times, but that was wrestling I went to see. And I could tell something went wrong because after they did it, it's like, oh shit. You know, and that's the bad guy looking like, my bad. I shouldn't see that on their face, but I saw it. And then I had to quickly get back into character. I don't like when wrestlers do unnecessary stuff. While Kenny Omega is young, he's got a lot ahead of him. I just wish he wouldn't do the same thing Kevin Nash, Shawn Michaels, Hulk Hogan, and Ultimate Warrior has done, which has become predictable and pretty much a placeholder. Because when people watch them and they love them, they look back on it one day. If they ever develop a love of actual professional wrestling, they're going to be like, well, Kenny Omega was a great striker, and what was he? They're going to wonder, what category do you put Kenny Omega in? You know, it's almost, Kenny Omega ain't nothing, but he's not that far from being just a spot monkey. He ain't that far from it. He does a lot of the best moves, but where's the setup? Where's the story? Where's the glory? That's why I can't call him the best bout machine, because he hasn't had a 5-star match to me yet. He hasn't. Tell me the story. Show me the basics. Show me you can carry the match. Don't lay there huffing and puffing for 5 minutes in intervals. You know, don't sit there and try to workhorse it either. You got to learn to pace it and do the damn thing. You know, these are just my picks. These are my picks. This has gone over more than I wanted, but these are just my picks, and this is how I feel about it. This is what I think. And remember, it's not based on popularity. It's not based on how good of a face or a heel they were. This is how I view them in the ring as a talent, and would I have hired them only to boost asses in seats and nothing more? I wouldn't have given them anything beyond that. But that's all I got to say. That's all I'm going to talk about when it comes to them. If any of you out there got any other requests, you want to know something about me in terms of wrestling and what I like, don't like, what I don't know, whatever comes to your mind, hey, you know, you can hit me up in multiple places. You know, you've got here in the comment section. You've got me on Twitter at CRW717. I'm on minds.com, CRW717. You know, hit me up there. You know, I'm on Discord too. All that stuff should be in the description below. You know, I'm just saying, hit me up, ask me questions. You know, and if you want to be emailed, you can catch me at questioncr@gmail.com. You know, all those good places, all that stuff. You know, so you got questions, if you got critiques or something, you got plenty of places to put it. You know, so this is Cedric for CR Wrestling Commentary. This is for CR Fire Pro, CR Fire Pro Road. This is where wrestling comes to live. Thank you for listening. Mount position, neck lock. Trying to tap him out. Into the corner. Joji with the drop kick. Rack of the hard place. World have to absorb all of that. German suplex. Dolphin special 1. Fisherman DDT. Goes for the pin. 2, 3. And the winner of the match is World. I did not see that coming. Didn't see that coming at all. Congratulations. I mean, Hojoji went after, I don't know, numerous backslides. I mean, numerous backslides. I mean, he dominated the match, but I mean, mostly he dominated the match. World just had to get his shots in when he could and ultimately get his finisher fight. That's not even his main finisher, but he got it. He got it for like, what, the 3rd or 4th time, I think. It was an epic match. So, yeah, let's get rolling.